Hey there, We Can't Wrestle podcast listeners. If you haven't noticed, we have switched our server to Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. First of all, it's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple, and many, many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership, and it's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. So go ahead, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Highly recommended by me and everybody else here at the We Can't Wrestle podcast. Hello, wrestling fans, and welcome to the We Can't Wrestle podcast. The whole crew is here with you, all three stooges, Nate, Aaron, and Kyle, present and accounted for. And
yes.
This week's show is going to be, I think, a fun one. We have a top 10 episode of the show this week. We're going to do top 10 worst angles ever.
If you don't hate wrestling by the time we're done with this, then I don't know what to say to you.
Or if you
goddamn, there's some bullshit.
Or if you still love it, you're a true fan. Because we as wrestling fans, we have to live through a lot of shit.
That's what Vince McMahon said, like, to get the crew hyped before, like, WrestleMania 34. He was like, if you don't hate wrestling, let's...
Actually, no, that's what Don Callis said before Bound for Glory.
I'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, that was the first thing I wanted to talk about, Bound for Glory.
Okay.
Apparently, from what I saw, the video clips I saw and everything, I'm not going to watch the whole pay-per-view, but video clips and stuff that I saw, pretty garbage pay-per-view, actually.
Are you surprised?
I don't watch Impact Wrestling, but I keep up with enough to know what's going on. And, Aaron, why don't you start us off with that? What do you want to talk about first about that shit?
Well, I thought the gimmick of taking all the stuff off of the ring was, like, totally stupid.
Yeah, well, not only stupid, but dangerous.
Yeah, and unneeded.
And from what I heard, they were just, like, slipping around on the boards and stuff because the boards were moving. They didn't do anything. You know, if WWE did... that's one of the things about WWE that you can never deny is their professionalism. If WWE would have done something like that, which they wouldn't, they would have done something to make it so that it would have been somewhat safe for the wrestlers. Impact's just like an outlaw mud show with a nationally televised show, you know. It's terrible.
Well, I don't know. Like, you have the chance to show.
Okay, this is what I put. There was a thread. I'm sorry, Kyle. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
There was this thread where they were talking about, like, how Austin Aries, you know, because he no-sold John Morrison's finisher.
Yeah, he just got up, like, you know, because that's a moneymaker.
But anyway, this is what I put. Because it's fine if... it's not fine, but what I'm getting at is this. That, yeah, he no-sells the finish and he walks out, okay?
Mm-hmm.
If you were going to use that as a angle of this guy saying, hey, fuck you, it would say, if he wanted to go against the script with quotations, why would he sell anything at all? Fucking stupid.
Right.
Was fucking Vince Russo back?
I'm not done reading my comment. It says it's fucking stupid. Those 28 people in attendance should have been given refunds. Because for one, their big pay-per-view looked like it was like in a Arby's or whatever. There weren't very many people there.
Welcome to Impact Wrestling. We got the meats.
Yeah. Everybody's eating a beef and cheddar.
And my thing is, like, if he's not going to sell the finish, do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, like, why sell the entire match? If you're going to do it that way, just do a Scott Hall when he was drunk and just don't sell anything. And
Yeah.
and not to mention, way to kill your territory, because
It
now
makes it look worse if he just gets up after it.
yeah,
Because it's like, so all the bullshit before that, these guys, it's stupid.
where it was all fake. That's why that is the worst. That is the biggest problem with work shoot stuff, is you can't do that, because then now how am I supposed to take the rest of any of this seriously and get invested in it if you're and everybody nowadays knows, but in that couple of hours that you're at a wrestling show, you suspend your disbelief, and if you do a work shoot angle, I can no longer suspend my disbelief for any of your show.
And Nate, you know my opinions on CM Punk. I'm a fan of the guy, but I'm not over the moon on him.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I think a lot of people not a lot of people, like, now they look at that pipe bomb promo or whatever, and they try to justify it with that. But the reason the CM Punk thing worked was because he wasn't out there going, Triple H told me I needed to lose to this person.
No, yes, that's what I was about to say.
He went out there saying these beanhead people are trying to...
They're not giving me main event matches.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. There's a way you can do it, and it's still believable.
Like he was saying, like, they're putting this person in this match, they're putting this person in this spot, and I'm the best in the world, and they're trying to hold me down. Now, I'm not even saying I enjoyed that, but I'm saying that he didn't go out there and say, Triple H wrote for me, I'm supposed to do this.
Yeah, I'm supposed to do the job for Cena.
Yeah. Or even like the Joey Styles thing, he went out there and said he didn't go out there and go, the wrestling that you're writing is terrible. He went out there and said the wrestling that you're promoting
Yeah.
it's not hardcore or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, instead of saying, essentially, I'll just use him as an example. In his promo, he says, who wants to watch wrestling cheerleaders? He didn't say you wrote these guys.
Who wants to watch guys pretending to be cheerleaders?
Right, exactly. Who wants to watch? There's a fine line between you can shoot and not shoot. You can kayfabe shoot. I mean, and what they did, like you said, or like you were elaborating to, why was any of the rest of the match at all to be taken seriously? And not to mention, even if you are going to do a garbage angle like that and try to justify it, why in God's name?
Butthead say script.
Why wouldn't you not? Why would you do that during your world championship match?
Yeah, and I didn't watch the whole thing, but apparently they said Don Callis, who looks like Butthead. I mean, he looks like a real life Butthead. Said that he's going off script. Why say the word script?
Yeah,
it's because none of them have fucking psychology. And that's what it comes down to, is that people fucking... It's just like the whole Austin McMahon thing. Great when they did it, but like everybody else tried to fucking do the same thing. They're still trying to do the same thing without the fucking reason why.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the Austin McMahon thing, you could say, oh, this guy is shooting or whatever. Well, Steve Austin wasn't like, oh, Vince, you didn't write this for me. He was just like, doing what I was just saying. Like, he was like, fuck you.
Vince McMahon never even let Vince Russo cross that line.
Yeah.
He never even let Vince Russo... Even Vince McMahon, who was the guy in the early 90s who said wrestling is fake, still on his TV show would never let Russo do something where they said the word script. Or, I don't...
It's a TV show. When you watch it, you should suspend reality.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but at the same time, though...
That'd be like...
you need...
Do you guys watch The Blacklist? I know I bring up The Blacklist every once in a while.
No.
But anyway, like, The Blacklist is a great show, and you should watch it. But it would be, I don't know, Let me think of it. It would be like David Schwimmer going, "Hey, I look like a tadpole, but I still stand a chance with Jennifer Aniston."
Well, it'd be like, okay, so
you get what I'm saying, though.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but a perfect example would be like The Walking
David
Dead.
Schwimmer looking like a tadpole was a funny joke.
Like The Walking Dead, perfect example is that. I mean, how easy would it be for you, or I guess not easy, but how hard would it be for you to suspend your disbelief if, like, halfway through they fucking turn you like zombies, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like with wrestling, like you got to meet the fans halfway. You can't.
Yeah, it's like that. It's like that whole thing where they talk about what Russo was trying to, and I don't know, because I've never heard him talk about it directly. But I know back when he was booking WCW, they said that one of his deals, I've heard in shoot interviews from guys that worked there at the time, was he wanted to do something where, like, after a match would happen or whatever, they'd just have cameras back in the locker room, or during the production meeting.
He wanted to do, like a Nitro after Nitro type thing, where once the show was done, all the characters, or the wrestlers, whatever you want to call them, would leave and go to like a studio and talk about what just happened on the show.
Ugh.
Like Kyle was just talking about The Walking Dead.
Mm.
You know how Chris Hardwick does with Talking Dead?
Talking Dead, yeah.
That's what he wanted to do with Nitro. It would have been like a Lex Luger turned heel. So now
Lex Luger and Bret Hart are going to talk about their angle.
Yeah. And what Lex Luger's character would have thought about turning heel and all that shit. But we're going in the weeds on it. But that's what he wanted to do, and it would have been butt.
Well, and what's funny is like the Talking Smack thing kind of did the same thing, but it wasn't like they still kept kayfabe around when they were doing it. I mean, there's a way to do it, yeah, but I mean, fuck. Between you and I, it's like we all know that fucking there is not really that Rick really isn't fighting zombies.
Yeah,
but for that hour, you're suspending your disbelief. And pro wrestling, I'm not telling you anything you guys already know, but it's supposed to be a sport. Above everything else, it's sports entertainment. So, you're supposed to fucking believe in what these people do and believe in these people. That's why, we fucking shed a tear for wrestlers when they pass because goddamn,
you get emotionally invested.
The Walking Dead has been really cool.
No, I'm not saying it hasn't.
There were like some funny things I saw in it. Have you guys watched The Walking? Kyle, you brought it up a couple times. Have you guys watched The Walking Dead last 2 episodes?
No.
Yeah. And I appreciate the fact that they can do funny shit.
Nate, this is something. Father Gabriel, you know who that is, right?
Yeah.
Well, he was on the show, and he didn't have a big black priest hat. Do you know the priest hats I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Well, then all of a sudden he had one on this new season. Mm-hmm. Like, he looks cool now. And he has, like, a big black priest hat. So I'm looking at him like,
is he still
in a year
blind?
and a half, this dude just found a random old school,
is he still
old-timey priest hat.
Is he still blind?
In one eye.
I was thinking when I was watching last season when he went blind, all I was thinking about was the fact that I was thinking about Ray Charles and the fact that this show is set in Georgia, and I just thought of.
And then there was another episode. It was just on, and him and the dumpster lady.
Mm.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Well, they hook up and they fuck or whatever. And before they do it, like they're sitting out in the woods and they're about to do it, and Gabriel, who's blind in his one eye, looks at the dumpster girl and he's like, "I'm supposed to be on watch." And in my mind, I'm like, why would you send a half-blind guy out at midnight in dark woods on lookout?
And then while they were doing it, was he like who that man?
Well, you don't see him do it.
I know.
My thing is like, why is a half-blind guy on watch at midnight in the woods? I'd have him out there at like noon.
I was gonna say, hopefully they don't come from the west.
Yeah, because he ain't gonna see shit.
Come from the east.
But see, and that's the thing. It's good fucking writing. It's good comedy and stuff. Like, it's that subtle shit that it's not like in your face like pro wrestling likes to do. Like, they fucking shove it down your goddamn throat. I think one of the greatest fucking lines in any movie is fucking the Marvel movies when they fucking Batista Drax is sitting. He's like, nothing would ever go over my head. I'd catch it. It's fucking funny. It's like. And that's what we want with wrestling. Like, it's fine for funny shit. Like, Mick Foley handing fucking Mr. McMahon the goddamn drink out of the side of the fucking screen.
The right kind of funny in wrestling works. Example, something I just watched as I'm watching stuff on the WWE Network. I mean, you want to smile. If you want to laugh, I know usually after I say that I say Eddie Guerrero, but it's not Eddie Guerrero this time. One of the best things ECW ever did, okay? One of the best things they ever did is Cactus Jack and Mikey Whipwreck as a tag team.
Oh, God,
Because those interviews with Mikey Whipwreck...
Cheetos?
Oh, just the whole... Like, he's just... The entire time, he's just petrified of everything that he's involved in. And, I don't know, it's so funny. Like... He's like, when they win the titles, Cactus is like, how excited are you, Mikey? And Mikey's like, I promised my mom I'd never win another championship at ECW.
He's like, you want to fight the Public Enemy?
No!
Absolutely not.
Mikey
How do you feel
likes
about it, Mikey? I'm scared to death.
I'm scared to death, Cactus. It's so funny, but it's not funny like stupid funny. Like WWE food fight. Like
Somebody on this thread I'm on just posted this picture of like, well, didn't just post it, but posted this action figure of Jake the Snake Roberts.
Mm.
And he's got like 4 snakes on him, and I thought this was funny, and nobody else probably will. But they're like posting all these things, and I put, I'll stick all these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking Jake. Crack me up.
All right.
But do you know who the best heel on television is?
Right now?
Right now. And we're going back to The Walking Dead, but he's the best heel.
Oh, you're not talking about wrestling.
Well, I'm sorry.
That's all right. No, I thought I was going to answer it as a wrestling question.
No, I'm just saying television-wise. If you want a great heel, it's fucking Negan. That's the best goddamn heel on television.
Now, you know who the best heel in wrestling is right now?
Who?
Tommaso Ciampa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was going to ask you this, Aaron, because I have to... because you're a fan of both guys, and because when I was watching... As I've been watching WWE, maybe like the past 6 months, you're a fan of both guys, and I'll get to my point, but I want to set my question up here. You're a fan of both of them. They're both heels. They both do a good job. One of them I actually became a fan of over the past 4 or 5 years because of the good work he's done. I wasn't a fan before. And I want to see if you think this comparison, because of how much you like both of them, is blasphemy, okay? I think in 2018, The Miz is the closest thing we've ever gotten to Rowdy Roddy Piper, the heel Rowdy Roddy Piper. Like, I'm watching The Miz the past few years, and all I'm thinking is he's like, if WWE was not PG and he was allowed to have more of an edge, he would be Roddy Piper.
He'd be the biggest star in the world.
Yes, like that guy. I don't know if you watched SmackDown this week, but that Miz TV with AJ and Daniel Bryan.
SmackDown this week.
You didn't?
No.
SmackDown actually wasn't a bad show this week. Raw was fucking boring.
I watched Prime Time.
But yeah, the Miz is a new era Roddy Piper. Like, again, he's not allowed to have as much of a hard edge as early Piper had. I'm talking like Piper from like, Mid-Atlantic 82 until WWF 86.
Yeah, I mean, Miz is phenomenal. And if there's a lot of guys, honestly, and I know I don't watch it a lot and I knock it, and I'm a classic wrestling guy, there are a lot of people on their roster that could be phenomenal and could be what wrestling is supposed to be if they would allow them to be.
Yeah, if the booking was done,
Miz is one of the guys.
If the booking was done the way that wrestling booking should be done, and not the way WWE books wrestling now, this would be the greatest era of wrestling.
Another guy that could be great, if they would allow him to be great, would be Cesaro. Cesaro could be amazing.
Drew McIntyre.
I'm
gay for Drew McIntyre, so whatever.
Drew McIntyre, I'm not saying that. I don't know if he'd be like promo wise great.
No, he's great. I mean, and that was one of the few things that TNA did better than Drew McIntyre is one of the few things TNA did better than WWE. TNA let him cut promos the way he should cut just naturally. He is a fantastic heel promo. That guy is everything a heel wrestler should be. And of course, I've heard rumors they're going to turn him face, but
not because they do what doesn't make sense.
Well, let's build.
The revival should be. The revival should be the thing everybody's talking about.
Now here's playing devil's advocate, okay?
All right.
Do you think that the fact that
I'm gonna hang up on you?
Huh?
Said if you bring up Elias.
No, I'm not bringing up Elias.
Because
that was a fucking fluke, is what that was.
Doesn't matter what era that he's in, he's butt.
But anyways, no, okay, so let's say that wrestling was TV 14 again. Let's say it's the fucking Attitude Era. Do you think The Miz would have gotten lost in the shuffle? Or do you think the fact is that we like The Miz because even with the PG filter, he's been able to, break through?
I'm going to answer this. All right. And I'm going to answer this before Aaron because, full disclosure, since 2006 when Miz came into WWE, Aaron's been a Miz fan, and I have not, okay? And Miz, in probably right around that time he became WWE champion, going into WrestleMania 27, and then since then, he has turned me into a fan. And what I will say is, I agree with what Aaron said in this case. I think that with the talent that he's shown me that he has, if the chains were off, and I'm not even talking like Attitude Era stuff. I'm talking like just being able to do wrestling the way wrestling should be done and not this homogenized garbage.
Nobody could touch him.
He would be easily, and he would still easily be top of the card, and he would probably be, if not the top heel, one of the top two heels in the company.
And I get what you're saying, but what I'm coming at is the fact that, okay, like we all know that you're not getting over until Vince McMahon lets you get over.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Is it the fact that he was able to do something amazing in that PG era that won Vince over? Now he has the ability to be more selective with what he does, as opposed to the fucking Attitude Era where it was just like, fucking everybody go out there and do whatever you want.
Right. Well, no, and yeah, Miz has earned that spot, I think, with Vince McMahon.
If you take Mike Mizarian, I think I'm getting what Kyle's going with. If you take Mike Mizarian right now, okay, with no filter, and transplant him into 1998, 1999 with guys like Steve Austin, The Rock, Mick Foley, Chris Jericho, which is what I'm thinking you're saying, right, Kyle?
Yeah.
Mike Mizarian would be able to hang with those guys.
He would, because he would actually be able to hang that era more than this era, because that era was not about the match. There were great matches, but that era was about getting yourself over with catchphrases and promos and your personality, and that dude has that ability to the nines.
Yeah.
So yeah, he would have fit.
Honestly, probably would have been a face in that era.
Yeah.
Because in that era, if you were a fucking asshole, you were a face.
Yeah,
I
think he would have thrived in the Attitude Era.
Like, seriously, Steve Austin and The Rock, they're fucking pricks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you look at them now, like if you're in a room with like 20 people and Steve Austin walks in, just regular people just hanging out. It's like, oh, let's have a garage party, and everybody just hanging out. And Steve Austin shows up. He's the biggest asshole in the room. You're like, this guy's great. Like, he's walking in and he's like, you stupid son bitch. And like, give me a beer, throw it to me, and like smacking people around and shit. Steve Austin's an asshole. The Rock, he's walking in and going, you got a little dick, and you like strudel and all that shit. Yeah, like, Rock's an asshole. The Miz probably would have been a face in 1990.
And that's what's funny about the whole damn thing. It's like Vince McMahon was the fucking face in that whole thing.
Yeah. He was just a guy trying to
run my company.
Yeah, I'm just trying to run my fucking company. God damn it.
You know, I'm just trying to turn a profit, and you keep breaking my stuff.
You're coming out stunning people. And
I'm giving you money every week. I'm giving you a paycheck every week, and you've dumped me in cement. You keep beating up my assistant managers.
You had that fat Samoan give me a stink face.
Yeah, it's like I'm here. Here I am. I'm gonna run my show. I have my assistant managers, Patrick and Gerald. And then he just smacks them around, and then Deep Pants is the store manager. It's like Steve Austin was a prick.
Like Jim Ross said,
super fun.
Like Jim Ross said, Steve Austin will never be Employee of the Month. That's one of my favorite Jim Ross lines when he stuns Austin, or when Austin stuns McMahon. Steve Austin will never be Employee of the Month.
Yeah, it's like if you look at it, if you look at 2018, if you looked at everything from like 1990, like WrestleMania 14 to like 2003, if you look at it with 2018 goggles, like Steve Austin's a piece of shit, Rock's a piece of shit. They're all bad people, but you enjoyed them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You got these two.
I think Miz would have been great.
You got these two long-haired employees telling you to suck it.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to wrap up our 30 minutes of modern product talk for the show.
Yeah, because I have to pee, I think.
And when we return, who do we decide is going first? Aaron going first?
Yeah.
Who's on first? All right. So
I just watched that the other night. That's so fucking good.
Abbott and Costello.
Oh my god.
Well, right now we will take a break. We'll come back with more of the We Can't Wrestle podcast, and we're going to do our top 10 worst angles ever, and it is going to be a fun. I guess it wouldn't even be a top 10. Would it be a bottom 10? But anyway, We'll come back after the break. We'll be back. Aaron will hit his list, then Kyle, then I'll do mine. We'll see. We'll probably knock some off of each other's lists anyway. So we'll be right back after this with more of the We Can't Wrestle podcast.
All systems operating within normal design parameters. Engage cybernetic generation sequence.
All right, welcome back to the We Can't Wrestle podcast, and it is top 10 time on the show. This week's top 10 worst angles ever. And Aaron goes first, and let's see how many he can knock off of our lists.
Yep.
I actually thought long and hard about this one. I had some stuff that was on the list and it was off the list because, you know, it's like, well, that was worse than this, and et cetera, et cetera. So let's see where we land here. Aaron, are you ready?
Yes. And
get us started.
It's not going to be in any particular order, but I want to get the current. This is the most current one,
mm-hmm.
and honestly, is one of the things that I never understood why they did it.
Okay.
I never will understand why they did it. And when I mention these two people's names, maybe Nate or Kyle are going to know what I'm saying. But it was Charlotte and Paige.
Mm-hmm.
And it was when Paige, like it was a good feud, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But Paige saying your little brother didn't have that much fight in him, did he?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Much like Kale, that angle was tasteless.
Yeah. Like, to me, it was like, WWE, you're not pushing the edge, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing with a wrestling angle, but that, to me, honestly, in the last 20 years, is the most tasteless angle and the worst angle I've ever heard in my life.
Well, and it's not on this other one that I'm going to bring up in this same vein isn't on my list, but you can say the same thing for Randy Orton and Rey Mysterio with the Eddie Guerrero deal.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I didn't want to bring that up because I didn't know if it was anybody's list, but yeah, the fucking Eddie's down there. It's like, God damn it, is that needed?
Mm-mm.
You know, I mean...
Not at all.
But to me, the reason I don't like it is I did research on it,
Mm-hmm.
and you can say whatever you want to say with research on the internet or whatever, but at least with the Eddie's down there thing or whatever, they had like Vicky Guerrero's input on it.
Right.
They did that when they did the Your Little Brother Didn't whatever, they didn't give Flair or they didn't give Reed's parents a heads up that this is what's going to happen.
Right.
You know what I mean? And people can say, oh, well, Charlotte was involved in it, but Charlotte was in a position, or Ashley Flair was in a position where it's like, I'm working for this company, I'm getting into this angle, I'm getting this push, so obviously she's not going to say no.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, to me, that was a shitty angle. And it didn't need to happen.
Yeah, it was butt.
Yeah.
Very much, but...
It didn't, and the worst part about stuff like that is it does not...
It didn't add anything to it.
Exactly. It does not add anything to... It doesn't add heel steam to anybody. It just deflates the audience.
It was just tasteless, in my opinion. And that's why it was terrible. And I'm going to get my second tasteless angle out of the way, and then the rest of them are just stupid.
Mhm.
And Nate, we talked about this before, and the reason I think it's a terrible angle or worse angle is just because it's tasteless was the Terry Runnels miscarriage angle.
Yes. That was one that came off my list more just because I knew you were probably going to put it on your list, so I didn't put it on mine. But, yeah.
He did.
Remember that one, Kyle?
Yep. You know what? And look, in the interests of all fairness, I'll go ahead and say it now because fuck it, we're already talking about the same thing. But on my list, I didn't have that, but I had the Kane Lita Snitsky pregnancy.
Yeah, that's a miscarriage angle too. Miscarriages are stupid. Not
Fucking,
I should. Yeah, that made it out. Like, I'm saying miscarriages are stupid. I'm saying
Miscarriage
like
wrestling angles.
Yeah,
yeah, it's not fucking needed. It doesn't. The only redeeming quality of the Snitsky thing is when he punted the fucking fake baby, and it didn't go very far.
Well, that and his promo. I'm going to subjugate myself to Kane's abuse.
yeah, they could have done all. They could have done all of that and not had it be a miscarriage thing.
Right.
It
Well,
just,
and
like I said,
The thing that makes it okay, and I'm not justifying the Lita angle, okay, but the thing that makes the Runnels angle worse than the Lita angle is that the Lita angle led to like at least a 4-month program. The Terry Runnels angle happened on Sunday Night Heat, and it led to a match on Raw the next night. Like it didn't even.
Well,
It didn't even resonate. They didn't even use it as a way to push something.
Well, they did. They did it where
That's the worst year in pro wrestling history, by the way.
1999.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, the miscarriage thing did happen, but like D'Lo Brown was like worried about her at first when she fell down, but
It was just bad.
yeah, it was all terrible.
It's like there's some things that you just don't want to fucking see, and movies, fucking anything like that. It's like it does no fucking good.
So we're good with that one.
Yep.
No,
All
we're
right.
we're all bad with that one, but we're done
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
We're all bad with that one.
with it. Yeah.
Now I have those tasteless ones out of the way. Now the rest of them are just dumb and tasteless. But I'll let you guys decide. The next one is the NWO in WWE.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah, it was. And it started off promising.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, it did. Because fucking, like, the whole Vince McMahon going crazy and being like, I'm going to inject poison and fucking turn around. Like, it started off fucking, like, so fucking hopeful.
Here's the thing. The NWO angle, here's the crazy thing. The NWO angle in the WWE was good for 2 nights.
It was bad the first night, and do you know why?
Well, because they got humiliated.
No, because they went totally against the grain, and it was because Hulk Hogan couldn't help himself. Hulk Hogan and the NWO walked out on that pay-per-view and were cutting a promo, and Hulk Hogan did one of my favorite things ever in a promo, ever, but he totally went against what he was supposed to do. When the NWO first walked out, and he started cutting a promo, they started doing the what chant to them, okay?
Yeah.
And Hulk Hogan was like, the NWO is here, brother. And they were like, what? And he said, what you gonna do?
Yeah, he didn't put over.
Gonna do? And like he couldn't get out of I'm WWF Hulk Hogan and couldn't get out of that mode. You know what I mean? Like, sorry. What I'm probably saying is probably stupid.
No, it makes sense. Like I said, the build up to it was great, but I will give you that the whole fact of them.
Once they got there, it was fucking horrible.
Yeah, and I think it came down to the fact that at the end of the day, because of the way Vince McMahon feels about his product and his show and his stars, they never should have brought those three in as the NWO. They should have just said, fuck it, bring them in as separate guys or whatever, or bring in Nash and Hall together, no Hogan, or whatever. The reason being, first of all, he didn't create it, so he was never going to allow it to be anything more than what it was.
And it was the thing that beat him.
Secondly, he was not going to let... Vince isn't the guy that lets somebody from a faction or whatever from the outside come in and run over all his stars. He's not going to do that. I mean, the invasion angle proved that.
Well, he let him run over one of them, and that was The Rock.
Yeah.
But it was with a semi. And at the end, The Rock was still okay.
Yeah, like I said, I liked the No Way Out stuff, and then I liked the Raw in Chicago after that with Hogan and Rock face to face and all that shit. But other than that, yeah, that wound up being garbage.
You could have still had The Rock and Hogan face to face, and not had to have the crummy NWO WWE stuff going on.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And their entrance is cool as fuck.
Yeah.
like with the film melting and everything.
Uh-huh.
It was cool, but in that whole WWE NWO run, Kevin Nash meant absolutely nothing because he was hurt through most of it.
Mm-hmm.
Scott Hall was like duct taped to a chair.
Yeah.
And then him and Steve Austin had a fucking horrible match. Horrible.
Although fucking watching Kevin Nash fucking come back from an injury fucking 2 seconds in the match.
Ah!
Like, just everything with the NWO and WWE was fucking horrible. Anybody else got anything on that?
Nope.
Okay, next on my list is Katie Vick.
Gotta knock it off
Online.
my list.
Yep.
It was just stupid.
And it wasn't... Like, if it would have been funny, that would have been one thing, but it wasn't even funny.
Yeah.
Well, and again, it's continuity because, like, we fucking heard that, Kane was fucking kept in a basement all of his life and watched The Undertaker and he's badly burned from the fire, and then all of a sudden it's like, nah, he had a fuck girlfriend.
And it's funny because what I've always thought about the Katie Vick angle is the Katie Vick angle was, tell me if this makes sense or if I need to elaborate. The Katie Vick angle was the end game for the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
You had done all these crazy angles and all this shit and, all these crazy Jerry Springer type angles, and you essentially have run out of that kind of stuff. And that was like it's kind of like, I look at Katie Vick as compared to the Attitude Era as like the Goon and Freddie Joe Floyd and T.L. Hopper to the gimmick era. Does that make any sense? Like, it's the end. Like, we've got everything out of this box we can possibly pull out of it. This era is over.
Yeah. Katie Vick sucked.
Yeah, it did.
It just there's a few things.
It wasn't funny.
I don't know what the fuck is their upset.
But cool with it.
But the sad part, it's like, what is the obsession with fucking dead people with fucking WWE?
Well, one man's vision. Apparently, Vince McMahon has a dead people fetish or something. I don't know.
It fucking blows my mind.
Him and Holly Joe Osmond, or what was that little fucking kid's name?
Haley Joe Osmond. I see dead people. Pow.
Which the years haven't been kind to him.
Yeah, no, he looks like
Little Joe what's his name?
Haley Joe Osment.
That's what I said. Little Joe Omelet.
Little Joe Omelet.
You want an omelet? Yeah. Oh wait, I'm sorry. That's Little John.
The next one on my list is, unless you guys want to say something else about Kitty Big.
Man, I think we said what we got to say.
Yeah.
Okay, the next one on my list is that Road Warrior Hawk is a junkie.
Oh, that was on mine too. Fucking horrible.
I didn't like Hawk as a junkie.
It was fucking ridiculous because do you remember when he fucking committed suicide off the top of the fucking...
He didn't commit suicide, he was murdered.
Well, okay, well...
Draws tried to murder him.
That's true.
Draws was the dealer.
You're right, I'm sorry. But yeah, fucking just stupid.
It was a garbage angle, and it tarnishes everything that was great about the Road Warriors, and makes light of a person that had problems.
And it is one of the key angles in the history of wrestling that shows Vince Russo didn't know what the fuck he was doing.
No.
That's one of those ones where, like, I blame Vince McMahon, because there's a lot of stuff that Russo... You can watch WCW in 99 and 2000 and see a lot of stuff that Russo does without an editor. And the Road Warrior thing is one of those things where I put a lot of blame in Vince McMahon's lap, because he should have edited that. Actually, he should have just put the kibosh on that shit.
It's just that absolutely not. We're not going to do that.
Yeah. So, yeah, that one was fucking terrible. And it was, and not to mention, I mean,
and I'm not knocking like Michael Hack. Like, I'm not knocking Hawk.
No,
I'm not knocking Animal.
I mean, when we talk about
we're doing the job.
Yeah, that's what I say. This whole thing, this whole top 10, we're talking about angles. This is no criticism on the wrestlers. I will say that at that time, the Road Warriors were not exactly setting the world on fire with their boring-ass series of matches with the DOA.
but they were also being plugged in.
Yeah.
With the DOA.
Right.
Wow. But yeah,
it's kind of taking the train off the rails for a second, but that always surprised me that those two teams didn't do better together. Because,
really?
Yes. Just hear me out. If you look at Ron and Don Harris in Smoky Mountain and ECW, for a wild, quote unquote, unabashed, like crazy tag team, those guys were actually really good for that style of a tag team. And the Road Warriors too, they both had that same style and they were both really good at it, so you would think that together they would be good, but they were just not.
Well, and the bullshit part about it is
because Hawk was a junkie.
And that's the thing though, it's like, why did you need to fucking bring that out in front of the public? Why make his personal transgressions, a part of a storyline? Like, fuck.
Yeah, it's the same garbage they did with Scott Hall in WCW.
Oh.
What?
Just stop it.
Okay.
That was the next thing on my list.
Yeah, Scott Hall. All right, there we go. Smooth transition.
Scott Hall is a drunk.
Yeah, that was not only a bad angle, but much like the one with Hawk, probably not... it shows you the mentality of your promoters and stuff back in the day, like, hey, we could help this guy, or we could just exploit his demons and make his life worse.
And boy, did they.
Scott Hall, drunk on WCW.
I've gotten drunk on some WCW in my time.
Well, and that's the problem too. That's the other that's the other reason it was tasteless and irresponsible. Is I mean, I'll be perfectly honest with everybody here. I never deny the fact that I drink, and that I'm probably an alcoholic. I'm a functioning alcoholic. I don't beat my wife or anything, and I only drink, at a certain time. I don't drink all day long or anything, but I probably drink 5 nights out of 7.
But Nate, let's be honest though, man. Hang on, let's be honest. You don't beat your wife because she beats you.
This is true. She is a redhead, so
I mean,
No, I mean, all joking aside, I
only try to drink every once in a while.
Yeah, okay. If you, if this happens to be that once in a while, if you tell a guy like a Scott Hall that is seriously, literally crippled by his addiction. I'm not crippled by my addiction. I have parameters as to when I drink, and I can control it, and I don't need it all the time. But when you take someone that has literally I don't like to call addictions a disease, because they're not.
But I think in this case it is, because a lot of it had to come down from the fact of the fucking lifestyle.
Right, and that's true.
Being a pro wrestler.
But and I don't want to get off on a tangent here, but that's why I don't like it when they call addictions diseases. That's stupid. I can't catch alcoholism. I make a choice to crack a beer. I make a choice. You know what I mean? Like, that's not a disease. That's not fucking cancer or lupus or whatever. Or the shingles. It's not a disease. I choose to open a beer. I can choose not to.
With somebody the other day about Magic Johnson.
What?
You're talking about diseases.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I had an argument with somebody about Magic Johnson. All right. Mm-hmm. And they said Magic Johnson had AIDS. I was like, Magic Johnson does not have AIDS.
He has HIV. He
has HIV.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, well, he knows the cure to AIDS. I was like, he doesn't know the cure to AIDS. He can just afford HIV medication, because HIV, once it populates into your system, creates AIDS, right?
Yeah.
Like, you get HIV, and then
yes, and
when you can't suppress HIV, you get AIDS.
Right. And the drugs,
and then you shrivel up and you blow into dust.
The drugs that control HIV are very expensive, and he has the means to buy them.
He has that money.
Yes.
Magic fucking Johnson.
I just wanted to get some clarification on that, because this person told me that I was full of shit. I'm like,
well,
because they were like, no, Magic Johnson cured AIDS. I'm like, no, Magic Johnson just has some money and can suppress his HIV.
You were apparently talking to a dipshit that listens to Alex Jones. So
well, see, that's something that pisses me off about all that. It's like, you have a smartphone, look it up.
Quick impression. Quick impression. Magic Johnson has the cure for AIDS. I hate Alex Jones. Anyway, what's next on your list after Mr. Scott Hall?
Who's Alex Jones?
Alex Jones?
Who is that?
Oh.
He fucking does that Gear Tech or whatever. He's the guy that thinks Sandy Hook was a conspiracy.
InfoWars. Let's not
go
there.
So, I'm not going into conspiracy theories, but I'm just saying Magic Johnson has HIV money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Speaking of conspiracy theories, I still don't believe we've ever seen the real McMahons.
Aaron, what's next on your list?
Goldberg turn heel.
Oh, terrible.
We had this conversation a while ago. I don't think that you were here for it.
You guys go ahead and talk about that. I'll be back in just a second.
See, I don't know. I feel like where else could have Goldberg gone? They've already fucked the streak up. They already,
Well, my thing was the whole he's going off script, like what we were talking about earlier.
Well, see, that happened later, though. That at first it was Goldberg turning heel. He joined the New Blood, and then when they decided that, like, oh, this wasn't a good fucking idea, the way that they're going to turn him face is that he went against the script. I was like, what?
Anything to do with that is terrible. Turning Goldberg heel is the worst thing you could have ever done.
Yeah, I do.
WCW.
I do see where it's a horrible fucking idea, but at that point, at the end, it's like they were just trying anything. Like, you want to see fucking horrible wrestling shows, go back and watch the fucking late 2000s. I had to review fucking Great American Bash 2000 a while ago. That was a fun time.
Why did you have to do that? Who made you do that?
That was one you weren't on.
Yeah, that was a great fucking time.
Turning Goldberg heel is one of the things that, it's one of the things that killed WCW. Because you took a guy that properly booked for 9 years or something as a babyface. His heel turn could have been as effective as Hulk Hogan's heel turn. But you turn him heel fucking less than 2 years after he is a mega star. Like he became a mega star in, what was it, August of 98 or July of 98 when they did that Georgia Dome Nitro where he beat Hogan for the title. And it's probably less than 2 years later they're turning him heel. And you can't be a good heel if you aren't a good babyface, if that makes sense. You have to know being a heel is the harder job in wrestling. You know, doing that is the hard part. Being a babyface is fucking easy. I love San Francisco. I love New York. You know, being a babyface is easy. Being a heel is the pain in the ass. Being heel is the mark of a true talent, and he wasn't ready for that. So,
no,
not at all.
But fucking WCW was terminal way before then.
Yeah, that was just an extra tumor.
Yeah, I mean, once you're doing Human Torch matches and...
What's next on your list, Aaron?
Who hit Austin?
Really?
Yeah.
I don't mind Who Hit Austin.
Who Hit Austin's terrible. Because they had no idea who hit Austin. And then The Rock or Rikishi came out there and was like, I did it for The Rock.
I did it for the people.
I did it for the people.
I can't participate in this conversation because I don't mind that angle.
Okay. Well, let's move on to my next one then.
Okay.
And it is Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior 1998.
Woo! All right, so I'm going to scratch one off my list, and we'll just discuss it now since you brought that up. Because what I put down was the One Warrior Nation.
That's in this.
Yeah, that whole fucking deal with Disciple and oh my god.
By the way, at the end of the Austin getting hit by a car thing, they were like, "Oh, Triple H did it," and he had his fucking Isotoner gloves on. It's like, no, you had no fucking idea what you were doing when you went into this.
Yeah,
that whole angle was fucking mismanaged the entire time. And by the end of it, like, through it, they were like, oh, fucking big ass Rikishi hit him, and we knew it was him because he had blonde hair. It's like, well, he wasn't even fucking on the show at the time. And by the end of it, it was just so misconstrued and fucking terrible. And it was like a soap opera angle. It was fucking terrible. like Steve Austin, like if it would have been a soap opera, Steve Austin would have got run over, and he should have had reverse amnesia and learned shit that he didn't know before.
Now I want to see it. I want to see fucking Austin.
Like Steve Austin should have got run over, and by the time it was done, he should have known who shot Kennedy. It was fucking stupid.
Guys, I know where Jimmy Hoffa's at.
Yeah, that's
Grab
my
a shovel,
favorite angle.
follow me.
That is my idea for a soap opera. Do you guys want to know what it is?
What?
Nate,
What?
still there?
What is it?
Reverse amnesia. Like somebody's just like riding their horse. Okay, they're on a soap opera and they're just riding their horse, and they wind up on like an icy lake, and the horse loses its footing. They fall. They smack their head and they get reverse amnesia, and they remember shit that they didn't know before. Now they're running from the government because they now know government secrets they had no idea about before.
They can speak Finnish and shit.
Yeah.
I said that today when Kendall banged her arm doing something, like banged her elbow into like the door jamb or whatever. And, you know, she's fucking cussing and shit. And I said, you know, the worst things in the world, you could slice me and I wouldn't care. The worst things in the world to me are stubbing my toe or bumping my head. Because I didn't know
Just imagine bumping your head and learning shit you
well,
didn't know before.
That's what I said to her. I said, you know, I don't know that I know German. But when I stub my toe or bump my head, somehow I'm able to speak German. Like I'm like, yeah.
Oh.
So I'm just saying that fucking Austin getting hit, that was some fucking contrived bullshit.
Well, speak to me, Warrior, about the Warrior Hogan angle in WCW.
Hogan had
Smoke.
his own head in his hand.
The mirror.
So Hogan gave himself head. There was the mirror. There was the Bruce Beefcake blow-up doll.
The One Warrior Nation.
There was fog. There was trap doors. Horace Hogan showed up. Everything about it was just fucking trash.
Absolutely unintelligible promos. What most people call the worst. What most people call the worst main event in pro wrestling history on pay-per-view.
The worst wrestling match ever.
I don't know if it's the worst wrestling match ever. I've seen some.
Who was that fat guy that you talked about?
Great Antonio.
Yeah. Warrior. Hogan. Worse than that. And, like, the only thing that ever came out of that was Jim Hellwig doing the only good joke he ever had in his life, other than the what do Bobby Heenan and
the Liberty Bell.
And the Liberty Bell having got
one's cracked and the other's a ding dong.
That's the fun joke. But the second funniest thing he ever said was when Hogan was out there with the Disciple and he was like, "Who's that? Your barber?" That was funny. After that, the whole thing went off the fucking rails and it's fucking trash. And I'm glad that angle killed him.
How many you got left? What's next?
One more.
Okay.
Nobody else has anything to do or anything to say about
Nah, I pretty much covered
Hogan
it.
98?
I pretty much covered it.
Okay, I'm sorry I rambled a little bit. The last thing on my list is an angle that went for an entire year, and it was terrible. And that is the Dungeon of Doom.
Ooh.
Yep, it's on my list.
It ain't anymore, brother.
Oh, goddamn, was it fucking horrible.
Hey, Aaron.
Huh?
All I can tell you, about the Dungeon of Doom angle is nobody said life was gonna be easy.
We brought you some posies.
They've
And
expired.
they expired.
That angle, other than that thing, that angle was fucking terrible. Like Hogan going into the dungeon, those segments.
See, like, when I put it on my list, I even tried to put it into a rational mind of maybe it was what put the seeds into, like, the Broken universe.
Mm-mm.
But it's not even that.
No.
You
The
know what I
Broken...
mean? That was, like, that was crazy good. The Dungeon of Doom was fucking terrible.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Terrible.
you got, the funniest thing about it to me was like, and this is funny, but it's also fucking terrible. Like, first of all, like, people would just, it was like the Muppets. Like, people would just show up at the Dungeon of Doom, like, oh, look, it's Shaquille O'Neal.
What? And what's even worse? It's like, well, look, it's the son of Andre.
Yeah, where the fuck are they? How do they know where it's at? And then there was a Clash of Champions or something where Hogan did a promo in the ring and said he was going to the Dungeon of Doom, and like 25 minutes later he's in the Dungeon of Doom. It's like, what is it, in Sarasota? What the fuck is this shit? This is so stupid. Oh god,
course,
it's
the
the
famous-
worst. It's just the shits.
Of course, the famous fucking fucking giant goes flying off the top of the hall.
Yeah, and poor Vader had to have his face turned in the Dungeon of Doom. Oh
Oh,
god.
it's so fun. And then they had the fucking Yeti come out and hump fucking Hogan.
Nobody said life was gonna be easy.
Oh, it definitely wasn't.
Like your booty.
You're gonna get dry humped by a mummy.
And then these guys showed up.
Ah.
What's happening?
That's the fucking remnants of fucking Brutus Beefcake's fucking wrestling career.
Down at Dungeon Doom. Down Dungeon Doom.
All right, so
I don't know why Fraggle Rock came to mind.
Because I brought up the Muppets.
Yeah, and it's gonna keep going.
Kyle,
yeah,
Sorry.
we're gonna take our
Sorry.
break. It's all right.
yep.
We're gonna take our break, and when we come back, how many did Aaron knock off of your list?
1, 2, 3, 4.
4. He only knocked 2 off of mine.
Some more.
So I'm pretty excited.
All right. Well, when we come back, we will have Kyle's top 10 worst angles of all the times.
Oh, Z times, yes.
Right here on the We Can't Wrestle podcast. We'll be back right after this.
The Muppets.
I can't make it out. It seems like it's all around us. Can't you hear it? That what you mean? Yeah, that's it. That's it. High-speed propellers bearing 105. Wait, Blue Runner! Is he standing, Larry? No, sir. I'm turning to put the bow toward the sound. Here he is. Wait
Welcome back, wrestling fans of the We Can't Wrestle podcast, top 10 edition. We're talking about worst angles of all time on this edition of the show. And Kyle, it is your turn. Aaron, no, go ahead.
I was gonna say something like before when we were talking about the current product or whatever, and I told you guys I was gonna talk about something. I don't know if you guys have bought, and obviously they haven't paid for like sponsorship because we only have like 27 listeners, but the WWE 2K series has been terrible for like the longest time. You know, 2K19 is fucking amazing.
I have not got it yet.
It is great. You should buy it.
I might have to check that out.
It looks amazing.
For the record,
amazing. Huh?
For the record, we have more listeners than we're probably at Bound for Glory. We have 521 listeners. So.
Okay.
Oh wow! Hell yeah!
But I'm just saying, this game, it looks amazing. It plays amazing, and when you start out, you're like this guy, and you're working for a fledgling company, and you're basically living in a van. Okay, and it has like a lot of insider jokes and everything.
Right.
And you are working for a company called BCW. BCW. Okay?
Yeah.
And you're working for the shadiest fuck promoter.
Paul Heyman.
That it's not Paul Heyman. they don't come out and say it. But you're working for the shadiest fuck promoter for BCW, and BCW has a connection to Triple H, and every time this promoter for BCW is around Triple H, he's just like, ugh, here comes this guy again. Anyway, go ahead. Whoever's list is next. I'm just saying, this 2K19 game is super fun.
Kyle, worst angles of all time.
All right.
And Aaron eliminated some from your list. Which ones were those?
The Kane, Katie Vick, Road Warrior Hawks edition, Addiction Issues, Dungeon of Doom, and then I already talked about the Kane Alita Snitsky pregnancy because that kind of went hand in hand with
Terry. Yes. All right.
All right. So the first one we're going to start with is Boss Man kills Pepper and feeds it to Al Snow.
It's funny.
All right, so...
No, well, hang on. Because then it leads to the fucking Kennel from Hell, where all it was dogs running around shitting on the goddamn floor.
It does lead to some terrible stuff. Like, and the only reason that I'm going to justify here, I guess. I'm playing justifying. I'm enabling this terrible shit. The only reason...
Boss Man's one of my favorite heels ever.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was going to say. Is the only reason
There's no redeemable qualities at all.
The only reason that stuff gets a pass for me is because of that, like Aaron just said. In that era, Boss Man was one of the few guys that was actually playing a true heel. And his character just was so unredeeming and fun to watch. But yeah, I mean, you look back on it in hindsight, the angle was garbage. It was
the Boss Man's a nasty bastard.
Like I said, I mean, it's fucking ridiculous. The fact is that he feeds his fucking dog to him. Like, come on. Like, that's like, to me, it's lazy fucking writing. Like, to a match that fucking is stupid to begin with.
I don't know if you ever heard the story or not, but legend tells that storyline was actually booked based on a
Fuji Jimmy Snuka.
Yeah, a rib that Mr. Fuji actually real life played on Snuka.
Jimmy Snuka.
That's fucking horrible.
Dog.
Why would you fucking kill a dog just to? Like, dogs do nothing wrong to people. It's like fucking cats and dogs. Leave them alone. Don't fuck with cats and dogs. Like, there's fucking a lot of people that I hate. I fucking don't hate the cats or dogs. So
Right.
I don't know. That's me though. I thought it was fucking.
Maybe that's why Snuka was so messed up, because in his stomach, cats and dogs living together.
Is that why he killed that woman? Because cats and dogs living
No,
together.
that's the drugs.
Brother.
Oh fuck.
All right, who's next?
All right. So next we've got Stone Cold Steve Austin joins the Alliance.
I liked that.
The whole fact that Steve Austin as a heel turn was even worse to me than fucking Goldberg turning heel and shit, because it's Steve Austin, and
Steve Austin heel was fun as fuck.
And I'll give you that him being heel is fun as fuck, but then the fact is that they want the old Stone Cold, and then he comes out and joins WCW, the company that fired him. The whole fucking thing was stupid. The whole Alliance thing was stupid because you didn't.
Well, then say the Alliance, not Steve Austin being heel, because Steve Austin being heel was fun.
Well, that's why I have on here him join the Alliance.
Win beneath my ring.
Fucking horrible.
All of it. It was fun.
No,
And
it was.
we got what out of it?
Yeah, fucking thank you, Steve Austin. Now that nobody can fucking say anything without everyone going, what?
I didn't mind Stone Cold turning heel. So I'm of two minds on this, because I didn't mind heel Stone Cold at that time, but I see where Kyle's coming from in that it was stupid to have Austin join the Alliance. It wasn't stupid to have Austin turn heel at WrestleMania 17, but it was stupid for Austin to join the Alliance.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Because you have...
I'm not going to... Okay, sorry.
I mean, you have people who are tuning in and watching wrestling again because WCW's there. All of a sudden, here's fucking Stone Cold.
Some great stuff.
It's like, what?
Some great stuff did come up from Austin turning heel, but it was kind of before the Alliance thing, like the Austin Angle stuff, or Austin hitting McMahon in the head with that guitar, and stuff like that.
So don't really say, okay, the Alliance was stupid.
Yeah, Austin and the Alliance was dumb.
Yeah.
Austin heel was good.
That heel turn of Austin turning heel and joining the Alliance was stupid.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because you had this weird thing where at WrestleMania 17, Austin turns heel and sides with Mr. McMahon, but because of the...
Who's wearing water wings?
Because of
wearing water wings.
Because of the Alliance storyline, McMahon and Austin kind of, for like a couple of weeks, slide back to face, and then Austin turns heel on McMahon, and that's where it went south. So anyway, yes, I see what you're saying on that.
All right. Anything else?
Mm-mm.
All right. David Arquette wins the world title.
Oof.
Fucking horrible fucking thing.
And it's another one of those things where it's the angle itself, not the performer. And I'm going to say this because, and I don't say a lot of positive things about WCW after like 98. David Arquette, in and of himself, is one of the better wrestling celebrities because he really did like wrestling.
And everything I learned.
And he really did respect the business.
And everything that I've read for more than just a couple guys, he didn't cash in any of that. Like, he donated that to Brian Pillman and a couple other, and Louis Spicolli's family.
Yeah. But
So-
and him being
The idea of him being the champion was fucking retarded.
him being involved.
Shouldn't say that word. I'm sorry.
Yeah, whatever. Fuck PC.
It
Anyway,
was muscular dystrophy.
that him being him being involved in wrestling was not a bad thing, but there was no justification for putting the championship on David Arquette. No matter what Vince Russo would ever say about, well, we were on the cover of USA Today. Yeah, but you were on the cover of USA Today essentially as fucking clowns.
Yep.
So-
It's a joke to them.
It was a
And
slap.
it just
It was a slap in the face of anybody that ever held that title.
and then it immediately made it worthless because it's like David Arquette wins it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that's the reason why you watch wrestling, because these are people that
Yeah, well, and that's why I wanted to clarify that I didn't have any problem with David Arquette being with the business, because for what he did when he was there, David Arquette in and of himself was not bad.
no,
You know what I'm
and-
saying?
no, and celebrities have always been a part of pro wrestling.
Yeah, and he didn't do a bad job, but
It's not the same thing, but it would be.
like Kevin Federline.
Or I was gonna say Andy Kaufman.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's not anywhere near on the level, because Andy Kaufman's the greatest wrestling celebrity of all time. Or you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like celebrity interaction with wrestling of all time, but it's not any different. You know,
Right.
having him involved in it, but Andy Kaufman never won.
Yeah, and he especially never won the world
I mean,
title.
he won, but he didn't win. You know what I mean? Like, that guy was never, like, triumphant over Jerry Lawler.
Right.
If he was triumphant over Jerry Lawler, it was because, like, shouldn't say Austin, but it was because there was some outside wrestling
Well,
person being...
and even David Arquette didn't win because he won because of his skill. He won because of chicanery. The whole issue is you've put the world championship, your title, on this guy. And, yeah, it was just hot garbage.
And from everything I've read, and I'm not saying it's not a terrible angle, Kyle, you're right, it was horrible. Even David Arquette was like, oh, you guys shouldn't do this. And they still did it anyway. It was fucking shit. Vince Russo should be shot into space.
I agree with you. Fucking horrible. All right.
Bro, we got to have Playboy and midgets on the moon. All right, go ahead.
All right. So
I would dig that angle.
before Steve Austin got ran over by a fucking car, in WCW, we had a white Hummer that took out Kevin Nash. And the thing about it was, basically, Macho Man had Nash trapped in a limo, and then they had a Hummer. That was like fucking June of 1999. And at least with...
Okay, I was going to... White Hummer taking out Kevin Nash. I thought that might have been Jim Barnett. But he died in 2004. So it wasn't before that.
But at least with the Austin ran over, we got a payoff. WCW went out of business, and it was never disclosed who drove the fucking Hummer.
And the worst thing about it was they would just have these random moments on Nitro where they just show the parking lot and there's a Hummer parked. And it's like, what the fuck?
It was rear view mirror Sting. Like every time somebody got ran over, it would be Sting's like white face paint in the rear view mirror.
And that would have been fine if they explained it, like, oh, this is somebody dressed as Sting, or if it's
So I
fucking...
really think it was Meatloaf. Because he was like trying to tell you that angles in the rear view mirror appear closer than they are. So it was just bitch tits running over everybody.
Bitch.
That would have been much more satisfying than the actual angle.
But yeah, it's sad. That it's like you, the people they didn't even
Speaking
try.
of which, I'm sorry, I'm not
They were
trying
like, the only thing we don't talk about with Nitro Angles are Nitro Angles.
It blows me away that because people fucking, it's like, how in the world can you sit there and do that where you're like, yeah, I got hit by a Hummer, who drove it? I don't fucking know.
Christ.
The only one handing out more Hummers than this is Sonny.
Oh, Jesus. All right, got
Next.
2 left. Let's go back to fucking early 90s and Jim Ross coming out and announcing he's bringing back Razor and Diesel.
The new Razor and the new Diesel. That went over. It's gotta be Kane.
That's gotta be Kane.
It was all right. That angle was essentially real life garbage playing out on television.
No, it was just lawsuits.
Yeah, it was Vince McMahon saying, well, I own Razor Ramon and Diesel, so I can just put these gimmicks on whoever I want to. And, you know, and
put it on a talented guy and a floppy guy.
Because I'll be honest with you, the promo that Jim Ross cut heading into introducing those guys is one of the best shoot promos ever in wrestling. And it's one of the best shoot angles ever in wrestling. If it would have been left at, I'm Jim Ross, this is my story, and then he would have maybe managed just 2 heels. You know, I mean, and I know they were with Cornette or whatever, but I'm just using as an example. If he would have just become the manager for Owen Hart and Davey Boy Smith and did like the whole thing. Remember in WCW when the Dangerous Alliance first started, it was Paul Heyman saying WCW fucked me over, so I'm going to fuck over WCW by destroying your heroes. Okay?
Yeah.
If they would have just let JR cut that promo and then let him manage a couple of, like a stable of heel wrestlers to quote-unquote destroy Vince McMahon's heroes or destroy the WWF's heroes. I'm going to eat the WWF from inside. I'm going to eat it alive from inside. That could have been really cool, but then they fucked it over by bringing 2 guys dressed as old gimmicks.
Rick Bogner looked like how Scott Hall should have looked in the Scott Hall's a drunk.
And Glenn Jacobs is one of the best big men of all time, but he looks stupid as Diesel.
He had that, like, Coming to America Jerry curler.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, does that what I said about JR's promo make sense to you, Kyle? Like, if it would have not been a fake Razor and a fake Diesel, it could have been really cool.
Right.
Especially for that time. You know.
Like, it would have been cool. Excuse me. And this might sound like that would have been, and they brought him in later. But that would have been a cool time if JR could have been like, what you're doing sucks, and this, that, and the other thing, and now I'm going to bring I'm going to bring in Dan Severn and Steve Williams.
Or that, or even if you take talent that they had at the time, Austin and Pillman.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if it would have been these guys that, like, we're gonna upset the apple cart or whatever.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, yeah,
fake Razor and fake Diesel was stupid as fuck.
I know I took your point and like totally went off base with it. Kyle, I'm
No.
sorry.
That's why it's that whole like, oh, we're gonna promise you one thing and then deliver you something
another.
else.
Yeah.
And it just why they ever thought that it ever work? I have no.
They didn't at that time. At that time, Vince was just I think he felt backed against the wall. He had not had to deal with anything like that before.
Terrible.
He was, but I think the angle was just a result of Vince in panic mode. Like
fake Diesel. Fake Diesel kind of looked like regular Diesel. Rick Bogner.
Yeah, he looked like
he looked like
he looked like a guy that would.
Hey baby.
He looked
guy on like a Greek nude beach.
He looked like a guy that would be on an indie show wrestling as Raisin Ramen. Just.
No, he looked like a guy that would be on like a nasty nude Greek beach that smelled of Stetson.
Oh fuck! All right. So last but not least,
last on our journey,
and I'm sure you guys may agree with me, you may not agree with me. But to me, everything that fucking led up to this, the storylines after this, everything fucking stupid. Vince McMahon gets blown up in his limousine.
Everything that led up to that was amazing. Everything that led up to that was everything that was bad that happened to Vince, and he was going to kill his character, and all of that was great.
See, here's the problem, okay? Because now I understand that, things changed and everything else, and that originally it was supposed to be Mr. Kennedy as the illegitimate son. But I'm fucking taking points away because you're telling me that the only thing that these fucking writers can come up with is fucking Hornswoggle as his fucking son?
No, hey. What I'm saying is I'm going to go with that Vince was going to kill himself off, correct? And Nate, are you listening?
Yeah, the ultimate.
This was going to happen.
The ultimate end game.
Nate, let me keep.
Go ahead.
Vince was going to kill himself off, and then all the unfortunate shit happened right after that. Okay? So everything that led up to it was Vince McMahon was going to blow his character up and be gone. That's how the Vince McMahon character was going to end, that he survived everything. He survived the 80s. He survived the steroid trial. He survived this. He survived that. He survived Steve Austin. And then he was going to shut the door. And he was going to blow up. And in Vince McMahon's mind, he was dead.
But he wasn't, because he was going to come back later.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah, he was. He was going to come back, and he was going to explain that he did it to get control of the company, and that it was going to be Linda that did it, that blew it up, and it fucking was dumb. The whole thing was dumb. Because as much as you can say about pro wrestling...
What everything I've read and understood was that was going to be the end of the Vince McMahon character, and then the horrible Benoit stuff happened, so they had to micromanage that and get away from it.
But the thing is,
became involved.
As much as you could say about any of the other fucking any of the other storylines or fucking angles that we've talked about, at least it wasn't fucking murder. At least it wasn't somebody getting blown up. At that point, you want
amazing.
No, it wasn't, because you talk about suspending your disbelief. That's the kind of shit right there that fucking people are like, oh, look at this fucking hokey wrestling shit. Fucking Vince McMahon blew himself up.
It was so fun.
Overall.
No, and then And then they had the
Nah, come on.
audacity
Overall,
to sit there and say, "Oh, fans
come on.
were
Overall,
sit there and say, oh, fans were calling 911. People didn't want to leave the arena. Fuck you."
Vince
well-
is so funny.
Oh,
It's horrible. It's fucking, it's lazy writing is what it is.
When he slams that door and that limo blows up.
Don't get me wrong, it was a great looking stunt. I fucking don't know how they did it, but because I mean, there's no cuts or anything.
It's so funny.
But like, really, this is where we're headed now, guys? Is that fucking Vince McMahon? There's a murderer in fucking. That's the thing about it. It's like now there's a murderer somewhere in the roster. Someone killed Vince. It's like,
and it was Paul London, yeah.
Paul blew him up.
and now there's going to be investigations of all the wrestlers to find out who wanted Vince dead the most. The only fucking thing that would have been worse than that was they talked about the fact that to explain Stephanie's pregnant was that Vince was going to be the one that impregnated her.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that would have been fucking worse.
Yeah, but Vince blowing up is funny.
It might be funny, but it's still fucking a stupid storyline.
And you know, to be honest with you, the only way you could have done that storyline and had it come to a what do I want to say, a somewhat satisfactory conclusion, is that if the person that blew up Vince McMahon was Stone Cold. Like, that's the only way you could be like, well, there it is. You know, the greatest story in wrestling ever told. And it ends with Stone Cold blowing up Vince McMahon in his limousine. That's the only way it ever could have ended satisfactorily. Instead, it was garbage.
No, did you hear what you just said?
Yes.
Blowing up Vince McMahon.
Yeah. If they would have done that, then I would have been like, you know what? All right, fine. I finally got rid of this bitch.
Yeah.
But the fact is that everything they did.
Guts just blow up in the sky and like Steve's just flipping them off.
But see, and that's the thing about it, because it spawned fucking Hornswoggle being the son, because, you know, if Ben...
That's Benoit. That's Benoit's fault.
But see, that's the thing, though. But if Benoit hadn't have fucking done it, they still would have done the illegitimate son.
No,
that was the fucking be all end all. That was the payoff. Is that you were gonna fight?
No, it was. They had to. It was not.
Yes.
They had to pivot.
Yes, it was.
They had to turn it into like stupid midget people because some horrible shit happened.
They were gonna launch an investigation.
I guarantee that if it wouldn't have, like, Patterson and Briscoe would have had like a urn. They been Vince in it and all that shit.
The wrestlers have talked about the fact they had fucking funeral arrangements. They had a fucking casket with Vince's body in it, ready to go for that fucking memorial Raw of fucking Vince McMahon died.
Well, that's what I'm saying, and it wasn't gonna be Hornswoggle being his.
I understand it wasn't gonna be Hornswoggle, but the fact is that they were still gonna do the illegitimate son, and Mr. Kennedy still would have fucked up. And you're telling me that?
Yeah, the ultimate story was going to be something to the effect of Vince died. Then they were going to get into some shit with his will. And then there was going to be an illegitimate son that reared his head.
It wasn't going to be a leprechaun.
No.
No, it was supposed to be Mr. Kennedy.
And then at the end of the whole thing, and this comes from, I listened to an interview with one of the writers. I think it was that Matt Eck guy or whatever. But anyway, it doesn't matter. You're going to do this illegitimate son who comes forward. He's part of the will. He's going to inherit the WWE. And then the end of the whole thing was going to be that Vince McMahon faked his death as a vanity project.
Right.
To see...
So he He was coming back.
Yes, to essentially say, well, you missed me while I was gone. Now I'm back. Now you can't boo me anymore because you proved that you missed me. That was essentially the whole story. But this was going to play out over like a year.
I would have preferred zombie Vince.
Pal.
You know, zombies are big now, guys.
Because you know what he likes, right? Brains.
On that note, we're going to take a break.
Brains.
On that note, we're going to take a break. Rains. 1, 2, 3, 4,
So,
5, 6.
a joke.
I did not getting off your list, did I, Nate?
No, I still have 8.
Oh, this is going to be good.
You gotta give me that joke.
Which one? Rains?
Brains.
I did. I played it up hardcore.
So I'm excited because,
God damn it.
goddamn, we just went through all this bullshit that we've talked about so far, and still Nate has 8. So we're going to be fucking scraping the bottom of the barrel here.
Nate has 8, and they are bad.
This has got to be fucking horrible.
So we'll take a quick
I got about an hour.
shit break or
Okay.
whatever you want to
Okay.
call it, and we'll be back with more of the We Can't Wrestle podcast right after this. All right, welcome back to the We Can't Wrestle podcast. For those of you that don't know what we're talking about during the breaks, you're not going to know. You're just going to hear Aaron saying something about a wiener. Welcome back to the We Can't Wrestle podcast on
I'm not sucking the wiener, but
Podbean, Stitcher, any other place you can download your favorite wrestling podcasts. And
Let's solve this right now. I'm sorry, but is it gay if you get head from another dude? I don't think so.
If you make eye contact.
Right, yeah. It's like you're gay if you suck the dick, but getting it, I mean, fuck. Just close your eyes and...
I hope he's got false teeth. I don't know.
Well,
Anyway.
Well, no, I just... Fuck, I mean, you're just getting it. I mean, it's not...
Oh, I love that this was in my plugs segment.
Yeah.
That's the conversation that Vince McMahon and Shawn Michaels had once, probably.
And don't forget to like and share our apparently naughty ass Facebook page. And also check out the Motley Soup podcast and motleysoup.com. Now, top 10 this week is worst angles. We've gone through quite a few of the shittiest shit in the history of pro wrestling, and now I'm going to present you 8 more to prove to you that we all really kind of like a kind of crappy form of entertainment. The first on my list is an all-encompassing thing. It lasted many years, and it started 2011, and probably went through at least.
I thought you were gonna say 2002, and you're like TNA.
At least the end of 2012, you have the celebrity guest general managers, and then the anonymous Raw general manager.
Fucking.
Oh my god! The only fucking good thing that ever come from the anonymous Raw GM was when Edge speared it.
It was all garbage.
Oh my god! Yeah.
And
that was like the when they started doing the celebrity general managers, that was the beginning to me of the fall to where we are now in WWE.
Yeah, because they try to treat it like Saturday Night Live, and it's like,
I'm gonna bring it up again. There was Jeremy Piven.
yes,
and not to mention, going back to the Dungeon of Doom, we actually had. Not to mention, going back to the Dungeon of Doom, we actually had the Muppets on Monday Night Raw. Sheamus and Beaker. I mean, need I say more?
Sheamus and Beaker was fun.
Yeah, but it's fucking garbage when it comes to the narrative of professional wrestling.
I know it is, but that was fun. And then Bob Barker and Chris Jericho.
And I'm
That
not
was
saying,
fun.
I'm not saying there weren't moments that could have been fun, but
Fucking Chris Jericho coming out with a name badge on.
yeah.
He's fucking got no shirt on.
Barker and Jericho was fun.
There was funny stuff that came out of it, but overall it was trash.
Pick that up before I take you to my knee.
Next, 3 Syllables. It was a great movie series. Well, the first 2 were good. But need I say more? Need I say more when I say RoboCop?
Oh my god.
Yeah, that was,
I forgot about
That was.
RoboCop.
What'd you say, Aaron? That was pretty bad because
that was
yeah, that was fucking stupid.
when you said 3 syllables, I said Schindler's List. But you went with RoboCop, and that's cool.
Yeah, RoboCop, bad. RoboCop comes to WCW to help Sting against the Four Horsemen on the Great American Bash, I think. Or no, it's Capital Combat. Capital Combat 90, right?
Yeah. It's because they couldn't hire a boss man.
And RoboCop comes out and breaks the door off a cage, and
Which it's fucking the door is. You could tell it's fucking rigged.
well, and then just him
And
walk.
it wasn't even Peter Weller.
No, it was fucking probably Al Perez or something, but it was terrible.
No, he wouldn't have done the job.
Like, to me, that's probably one of the most, you got bad gimmicks and you have unbelievable gimmicks. It's like that one, and I didn't put this one on my list, but I can kind of group it in with that one. It's like RoboCop. The RoboCop thing is like the Rick Steiner Chucky thing. It's just so. It's so stupid and unbelievable. It's not even. It's almost not funny. It's embarrassing to be.
No, it's like. Do you remember when Chucky showed up on fucking Nitro?
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. Rick
Rick
Steiner and
Steiner.
Chucky.
You cut out there for a minute, so
Sorry, but yeah, that's what I likened it.
It was
to.
almost like when Ubitude showed up in not the WWE.
hey, I'm not the only one that didn't fucking remember that. So, but or what about fucking embarrassing shit like that? Let's talk about the fucking Chamber of Horrors.
Oof.
Fucking on live TV, you see the on-off switch fall down.
Yeah, Abdullah the Butcher with fireworks around him.
God damn, they.
And then
have
when
done a
he,
lot
I
of
mean,
bullshit.
when the whole thing's done, he just looked like he just had a good meal. That's how Abby looks after a good meal. Just fat,
That's how I look
slovenly,
after a good meal.
slobbering all over himself.
Yeah, it's like I'll shit here in a minute.
The next one isn't a bad angle because it's ridiculous. It's a bad angle because of the way it was done. And it's almost like what Aaron was talking about with the NWO and the WWE. And that is, I guess I'd say, one of the worst fuck-ups. It's one of the worst angles because it's one of the worst wasted fuck-ups in WWE history, and that is the Nexus angle.
Yeah, it was pretty fucking bad.
That thing started so good.
Yeah.
And
Sorry.
and
Speaking of Peter Weller,
which we weren't, but go ahead.
because we were talking about RoboCop.
Yeah, all right. I didn't know there was anything other than RoboCop for Peter Weller.
Did you ever watch a show called Longmire?
No.
Anyway, it's this really cool show, and it's basically a detective show. I hear you clearing your voice, and I'm sorry.
No, that was because of my snack.
Anyway, Longmire's a really good show. It's on Netflix. You should watch it. It's basically a cop show, but it's set in Wyoming.
Mm-hmm.
And Peter Weller is a former sheriff on it, and now Longmire's a new sheriff. And because Nate, you like Justified,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
then you'd love Longmire. You should watch it. But Peter Weller's on there, and he played RoboCop, in case you didn't know. But he plays the old sheriff, and they have like an episode where Longmire, who is the new sheriff, and Peter Weller, who plays the old sheriff, have this shootout with people. And when Peter Weller goes to put his gun back in his holster,
He does it
you
RoboCop
gotta pay
style.
attention. He RoboCops that shit. Fucking amazing. And if you're not paying attention to it, you don't see it. But he RoboCops that
Well,
shit.
I'm sure it is amazing,
Yeah.
but that RoboCop angle was it.
But Peter Weller, fucking cowboying that shit back into his holster, it was pimp as fuck. And I was like, yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Can we agree that Nexus is one of the worst angles ever because it's one of the worst wasted angles ever?
Yes. The
Like-
beginning of it was great.
Yes, the beginning of it was
tore down the arena, when they choked out Justin Roberts, all that shit was fantastic.
and then they get beaten a 10-man tag match in their first main event at SummerSlam. Like, what the fuck? And then John Cena gets the upper hand over them the entire time of the feud. It's just so badly booked. Like,
The biggest regret I have out of all of that is Wade Barrett.
Wade Barrett should have been
He's the most wasted talent out of all of that.
Wade Barrett should have been a world champion. And that angle could have gone on for a year and a half. And every single one of those Nexus guys, I mean, other than Tarver.
No, Tarver should have been something.
Yeah.
I'd
And-
say out of all those guys, the only one that I was just like, is Otunga.
Mm-hmm. But he
Wade
could.
Barrett should still be in the WWE.
Otunga could have even done something eventually with. I mean, at least with his look, you know, like he has the look of a pro wrestler. But yeah, I just like that entire feud was such it was born of greatness and just so disenchanting by the end of it, and it was just so bad.
Yeah.
The heels never got
CM
any
Punk
heat.
couldn't even save it.
What?
CM Punk.
Oh yeah,
couldn't save
no.
it.
No, and by that time, say here's Bray Wyatt without a beard and Batista with hair. It was so bad. All right. Anything else on
The only thing that it's not even the only thing. It's funny because I don't even remember what wrestler it was, but he was out like it was a Bobby Heenan joke, and somebody was out there working, and Gorilla Monsoon was like, "He's from Wales," and Bobby Heenan was like, "Yeah," and the other guy, he's from People. Yeah.
Did you have anything else on the Nexus, Kyle?
No.
Next on my list of worst angles ever.
I really liked how it when I don't shave my head, I like how it makes my hair feel.
Accepted?
It's not quite Michael Landon, but it flows and
What the fuck?
the Nexus.
Jesus fucking Christ.
What?
Woo! You reached for that one. I'm trying to find it here. You reached for that one.
Huh?
We're going off the
It's hair care product.
Woo!
Nexus.
Oh. That brings a whole new thing of, wrestling staples based on hair care products. Dick Murdoch and his white rain.
Oh shit. All right.
Okay. All right, next on my list, it involves a specific date on the calendar, and that date is 5/19. And we're talking about Kane 519.
Oh no!
That was
Is that when he raped Ron Conway or whatever?
No.
Fucking.
That was when he would be in the ring wrestling or whatever, and then his visions would become apparent to us. About May
Does that have to do with
19th.
his movie?
Huh?
Does that
Yeah.
have to do with his movie?
Yeah. The whole May 19th thing.
Yeah, and he put that shirt over Rob Conway's head. Was it Rob Conway?
Maybe. I don't remember that. I don't remember that. It probably. It could have been. But it led to shit with Big Show. It led to shit with Shawn Michaels, and it was just fucking terrible. It was like we are supposed to believe. It was almost like Hogan and Warrior
Because
was.
he was going to have to watch his own movie. And he was
Yeah.
like, I don't want to do that. I'd rather murder Rob Conway. Or watch my movie.
So you got Kane with this. I mean, it's almost the equivalent of like Hogan and Warrior with the mirror, or I don't know. Just it was terrible.
Poor Kane.
Didn't that also lead to the fake Kane shit, or was that a different
I was just
thing?
about to ask you.
No, it was. It's all the same thing.
And it's all awful. Just awful.
That was Luke Gallows
Yeah.
Were they?
dressed
You're
as
telling.
Kane.
And you're telling me they couldn't have gotten a better fucking set of hair for fucking Luke Gallows? Looked like he had a goddamn wig on from fucking Halloween.
It was just one of those things where, you say, okay, I'm willing to suspend my belief, but I'm not willing to suspend my belief to the fact that Kane's innermost thoughts are syncing up with your light show in the arena.
Well, yeah, it's like I'm willing to suspend my disbelief, but fucking meet me halfway, guys. Come on, don't make it fucking hard for me.
I wouldn't have wanted to watch that movie either.
All right, next on my list, a long angle, a terrible angle,
Oh.
an awkward angle.
Boogie Woogie Man and Paul Jones.
Oh, man, I wish I would have put that on my list.
That angle went 12 years.
And this one is from the worst year, in my opinion, in wrestling history, 1999. I'm talking about that garbage-ass corporate ministry.
Oh.
Like
God.
Undertaker had people on his cell phone plan.
I hate the corporate ministry. I hate it. I hate the corporate ministry. It's so stupid. That's the only word I can think of for it. It's just stupid. It's stupid.
Yeah, like Undertaker set Vince McMahon's Teddy Ruxpin on fire. I just set my Teddy Ruxpin on fire.
It was playing Stand Back.
And that's a fact.
Please, please, please help me elaborate on the garbage that is the corporate ministry.
I just told you.
Where can you fucking start? I mean,
It all starts with the Teddy Ruxpin.
the only fucking redeemable quality is that when fucking Vince comes out as the higher power, fucking JR is like, oh, son of a bitch.
Yeah, like the only thing that is redeemable about it is that very second. Other than that, it's boring and it's stupid.
Actually, I don't even say the son of a bitch thing. The thing that I think is the coolest out of all of it, honestly, is the one time only that Vince McMahon and Steve Austin are genuinely like Vince's thank you, and Steve Austin's like, no problem.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, when he saves Stephanie.
Yeah, that's the only thing that I thought was like really cool out of all of it.
And it turned out it was all just a fuck you anyway.
Yeah,
But
but to me, that's the only moment of it that
Yeah.
in my mind. When
Yeah,
I
that's a
think
good-
About it,
that's
I think
a-
is like as a kid, I thought, that's pretty cool.
yeah, it's a good and in the story, now that you know the whole story, it's a good moment for the Stone Cold character. But
Yeah.
it's just, the whole thing is just like, oh God, this is garbage.
Yeah.
Well, it's like you're taking fucking Undertaker, you make him fucking satanic and it just, again, it's like, was that needed?
Like Undertaker doesn't need 25 guys helping him.
No, yeah.
To me, it ruined the Undertaker character.
He didn't need Midian.
As a matter of fact, the only person that actually came out smelling like roses in that whole angle was Triple H. That angle helped Triple H along.
Yeah.
But
it fucking, look how many careers it did bury.
True that. Next on my list, we're going to 2005. And it is Muhammad Hassan and The Undertaker with the terrorists.
A big uh-oh in wrestling history.
Yes.
A big whoops.
Whoopsie. They never should have aired it.
No.
You taped SmackDown on Tuesday. The terrorist attack happened on Thursday. Your show airs on Friday. Just don't air the fucking thing. You bunch of fucking idiots. I'm sorry. It just, like, they're like, oh, we apologize for what we've already recorded. You can't do that.
Yeah, you can't sit there and say...
You can't say, okay, if they would have done it live on TV, and then 20 minutes later the terrorist attack would have happened, and they would have said, we're sorry that we did this angle, and then this attack happened, and we're just going to scrap the whole thing, that would have been a different story. But you taped it on Tuesday, the attack happened on Thursday, and you still aired it on Friday, and you wonder why people are pissed? Like, what the fuck is your problem? Just don't air the goddamn thing. It wasn't that good to begin with. Why, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Like, I mean, it wasn't even good, so what?
There's times at work, I just look at people that work for me, and I'm like, you're a fucking idiot. And maybe I might not say it that way, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I'm paraphrasing. I just might look at somebody and be like, you're a fucking idiot. Or it might come out like,
you have no common sense.
you are terrible at your job and you suck. And then after I say it, I'm like, I'm sorry.
the space between your brains and your hands is obviously empty. You fucking idiot.
Yeah, I'll be like, you're a fucking idiot. And then I'll go, I'm sorry. You need to do better tomorrow.
But WWE didn't even get that. You know what I mean? Like, it was just so stupid. Like, if you've taped it, why would you fucking air it and then apologize for it? I don't hold people accountable for something. I wouldn't have held them accountable for it if they did it live and then something happened. There's nothing they can do about
Bill
that.
O'Reilly, fuck it.
Yeah, let's do it live.
I'll just read it. I'll write it then and we'll just fuck it. We'll just do it live.
But the thing about
My favorite thing is Bill O'Reilly on Current Affair.
like it's that important.
And you want to look at Bill O'Reilly and be like, dude, you're on a Current Affair. Settle the fuck down, man.
Well, the greatest part about that is
do it live.
The greatest part about that is he's like, and we'll leave you with the music sting, and then you see him fucking throw the papers.
Yeah,
And the music.
fuck it. Let's do it live.
Oh fuck!
All right.
That fucking Bill O'Reilly shit. Fuck it. We'll just do it live.
Anything else on the Hassan
Right on my-
Taker debacle?
No, apparently, from everything I've ever read about it, like he was hated. That apparently, according to Shane Helms, he fucking tried to buy everybody drinks at the bar to smooth shit over, and everyone stood up and poured him out.
Yeah, he was kind of on his way out anyway.
And fucking Shane Helms was like, oh, that's not good.
All right, so next, I got two more. And the next one is Claire Lynch.
Ugh. It's like, fuck, it's like taking something covered in shit and fucking deep frying it.
Claire Lynch was terrible. And you know what the worst part about the Claire Lynch... Aaron, are you very familiar with the Claire Lynch angle?
I think that was that.
It was the one with AJ. I know you're not terribly familiar with TNA, so that's why I asked that. I wasn't trying to be like, you're stupid, you don't know what you're talking about. But I didn't know if you were very familiar with it at all.
She was like a trailer park girl or something that
She
AJ
said
hooked up with.
No, she didn't hook up with AJ. The whole thing was she said she hooked up with AJ and she got pregnant.
And there were pictures of her and him and Dixie Carter together, and
well, see, and the worst thing about that one, the thing that made that one, to me, the thing that put that one over the top, other than the fact that it was just a stupid angle to begin with, because again, shit like that is stupid in wrestling for it to be a wrestling angle, but the thing that really put that one over the top for me as a stupid thing was when they had the match. I don't remember what it was. AJ, who was it? Kyle, was it AJ versus, who did he fight? Chris Daniels?
Yeah, it was Chris Daniels and Kazarian.
Okay. And the stupidest thing about the whole stipulation was, if Daniels and Kazarian, or if Daniels loses, Claire Lynch will admit that everything... Okay, listen to this. If Daniels loses, I'll admit that everything was false. But if AJ loses, he has to take financial responsibility or whatever. So she's saying I faked it, and if Daniels wins, I'll admit it. Like, it was just so stupid.
Move on. What's the next angle?
It didn't make any sense at all. It was just so bad.
And now he has a Clara Lynch haircut.
And now, well, no, and now he has gone somewhere where he has etched his name as one of the best of all time. All right. So
and
last...
a soccer mom haircut and gloves.
Yeah, but he's the best wrestler in the world, so that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
He is the best wrestler in the world. Name me somebody better. Who's the best? Who's better than AJ Styles? Bell to bell. End of story.
Kiwi.
Yeah. Now you're just being facetious. Aaron.
What?
Don't act fucking annoyed. I said AJ Styles is the best wrestler in the world. You said, eh. So you had to back that shit up with something. Who's better than him?
I'm just saying he's one of.
He's the best wrestler in the world right now.
He's one of the best wrestlers. Yeah.
He is the best wrestler in the world right now. Like, Meltzer would say Okada, but, I mean, Meltzer probably is jerking off while Okada's wrestling, so that works for him. All right.
I think Sensei Nakamura's fantastic.
He is fantastic, but he's not better than AJ. He's not more consistent. He can't have a good match with everybody. Nakamura can't have a good match with everybody. AJ Styles can. AJ Styles hasn't had a bad match since he came to the WWE. Anyway, all right. So I'll get on with it.
Hey, I do have a question though.
Okay.
Is John Cena making a movie? Like, I know he's making a movie in China, but is he making like a documentary about Mark Wahlberg?
You know what?
And is that why he has that fucking haircut?
When I saw his hair, I thought the same thing. the same
Like,
thing.
Is he gonna pop out behind a rock and be like, "I think I found a transformer"? How's your mother?
No, you know what's fucked up isn't he fucking doing, like a Bumblebee movie or something like that?
Cena?
That's a transformer.
Yeah.
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 Oh, that's funny.
You see, I thought that guy was making a fucking Mark Wahlberg mockumentary or whatever.
Peel it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. When he came out at that
That was the funny thing Jason Powell did. Did you read Jason Powell's review
No.
about that Super Show?
no.
He was like John Cena and his haircut. Yeah. And then John Cena and his haircut cut a promo. What's your shitty angle?
All right. It's the last one.
Good, because I gotta cut out here in a minute.
Oklahoma.
Like
Why the fuck wasn't that on my list?
Talking about the Oklahoma play or Ed Ferrara?
Ed Ferrara.
Yeah.
Like
There's
But
no
see-
words.
you
But
took
see,
you
know why I
took-
can't.
You took
you know why
you took a man's disability.
You know why I can't wholeheartedly say it though? Honestly, Nate,
Why?
I'm totally honest.
Hmm.
They did it in the WWE before
I know.
because they did it on a Sunday Night Heat.
I understand that. But that's like, I'm trying to put this sensitively. If you're doing,
I'm saying that it's tasty.
it is, but it's like, okay, if you're doing I'm going to use this as a real life example. I was really good friends with a black guy in high school. And we did this practical joke with people where we acted like we were angry with each other. And we worked this all out together before we even started doing this, okay? And the whole purpose of the whole thing was for me to eventually, as we were arguing, call him the N-word. And I said, so from the beginning of this whole thing, you really want me to say it? He said, dude, we can't do this right if you don't. And I was like, all right, you know I'm not comfortable with that word, but if we're playing this joke on people and we are who we are, I got to go wholeheartedly with this. And he was like, oh yeah, I'm calling you a motherfucking honky anyway. It doesn't matter. So we faked this whole argument in front of people. And he says honky and I say the N-word and we go into this room like we're going to fight. And we actually had people worried about what we were doing. That we were fighting, and he was fucking bigger than me and black, so he was going to kick my ass. And then what we did was, as the payoff for the whole thing, I guess you'd say, is we came into the next room and he was holding me like a baby. And it was a whole big joke on everybody. But he was involved and I was involved, so the things we said to each other were implied that it was okay. For the sake of entertainment, for the sake of our practical joke. And that is why what WWF did in 99 and what WCW did or WWF did in 98 and WCW did in 99 are different because at least Jim Ross was involved with the angle.
And Jim Ross could come back
Yes.
and, get his, I guess, heat back or whatever.
That's fine. And I feel like you're ganging up a little bit.
No, I was defending why I put it on my list, knowing that yes, it had happened before in the WWF, but it was different because he was there and saying this is okay for the sake of entertainment.
That's fine.
I'm not saying it's any less tasteless.
Yeah, I mean, it's not any different than Vince McMahon pulling Jim Ross's own head out of his ass.
No.
I mean, it's different, but you know
Well,
what I
I mean,
mean.
that is different because, quite frankly, whatever, that Jim Ross did have his head up his ass sometimes.
Yeah.
It wasn't making
I'm-
fun of a disability. But,
Well,
I'm-
and again too, and I'm not trying no ganging up, but
I'm just saying Oklahoma was stupid.
It was stupid. But yeah,
Let me put it that way.
It wasn't even funny. It was like,
Well, and the thing
it was,
is,
it was like,
That's what I'm going to say. Let me put it this way. Oklahoma and WCW was stupid,
Mhm.
it was stupid. But like,
but it wasn't insensitive. Do you get what I'm saying?
yeah.
It was a dumb angle because it extended longer than one night.
we even
and
have one night.
Matches. It was a stupid angle, but I think sometimes WWE glosses over the fact that they did it first. Does that make sense? What I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, they always do everything in their own narrative now. Yeah. Oh, no, I totally see your point. But that's why it took so long to make that other
Like
point.
Mike Hayes will sit there and be like, "What they did to you, that was disrespectful." But at the same time, he was sitting back there in the gorilla position, going, "Go out there, Ferrari, make fun of JR's disability."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, Oklahoma was stupid. It was a terrible angle. The fat, fuzzy motherfucker should have never been the cruiserweight champion. And the whole time he was the cruiserweight champion, he looked like a gumball covered in pubic hair. Shouldn't have been on TV. So I'll give you guys that. But I don't want you guys to think that I'm going to stand down from my point of view that the WWE was just as disrespectful and distasteful as WCW was.
And that's fine. But here's one thing I want to say real quick. All right, is the be all end all is that you have the guy who is asking JR, or coming out there and making fun of JR, or asking is it okay, JR? It's the same guy who fucking pissed his pants on TV. It's the same guy that'll fucking get his. So it's kind of hard to fucking sit there and, Ed Ferrara never fucking wanted to make himself look fucking stupid on TV. He just wanted to fucking make fun of other people.
He just
but
made
He made Duckman.
He made
so-
himself look
Yeah.
stupid in life.
at least with Vince is like he's gonna fucking take the worst of it, the worst of the butt of the joke.
Absolutely.
So that to me that's the difference is that we might make fun of your cerebral palsy or your fucking, we might make fun of the fact that you're fucking injured, we might make fun of the fact that your fucking head's up your ass, but hey, I was just on TV and I pissed my pants.
Well, and like I said, it makes a huge difference when the guy that is afflicted or the guy that has whatever it is that you're working into your angle going on with him is a part of it. It's a big difference than I work for a completely different company and here's my shitty shit.
No, it is distasteful. It is fucking stupid.
That's what I
but
said, distasteful and all that. But
now, that's the top 10. We had our top 10 worst angles of all time. I think it was a good show. I think it was a good... Everybody brought some good, nasty shit to the table. So now, Aaron.
who had nasty shit?
It was all nasty. It's nasty. Crappy ass shit. All right. Aaron, a number between 1 and 10.
12.
Oof. You don't want to do that because if
Seven.
you pick 12, I'm just going to pick whatever the fuck I want.
7.
Number 7. For next week's show, you get to review WCW Halloween Havoc 1989.
All right.
Kyle.
Yes, sir.
Aaron took 1 through 10. You get 1 through 10. He got 7, so you can't pick 7.
All right. Let's go with 2.
Number 2, another WCW. WCW Super Brawl 1997.
Okay.
Super Brawl 97. And then you guys get to pick for me. So who wants to pick my number?
Aaron, pick his poison.
Hold on, I have to watch Halloween Havoc 1989.
89.
Nate,
Mm-hmm.
your number
Be nice.
is 5.
You were not nice at all.
I've never been accused of being.
This is the first time this has happened, actually. Every one of us got a WCW pay-per-view.
Oh, boy.
Because I have Oh, God. I have WCW Super Brawl 01.
Oh, no. No.
Is that revenge?
Yes, it is. It's the last one, buddy.
Oh, no.
You motherfucker.
Oh, no.
Woo, Lord have mercy. All right. So there it is.
Oh, no.
Every one of us has to review one of these pay-per-views for next week's show.
Mine's good.
I might resign. I might resign from my own podcast. Kyle's your new host.
Here's the thing that's going to be fun about next week is you're going to have 19...
I be the host. I'm offended.
You can't direct a show. Kidding me? You're the entertainment, my friend.
So here...
I almost said I could get direct a show. Jesus Christ.
But here's the fun thing about next week is that you're going to see 1997, which is arguably the most popular year for WCW. Things are really on fire. And then in just a few short years, how far they fall.
I think Aaron got a decent one. 89 wasn't bad in WCW.
No, absolutely not. But see, that's the thing, though. We're not following up
So I guess
Havoc 1989 with fucking 2000.
Right, I guess this year, or this time around, when we do the next show, we'll just do them in chronological order. And you can go first. I'll go, or Kyle, you go second, and I'll go last.
Right.
All right.
In this small window of time, I've realized that you're correct.
About what?
That I could not direct a show.
Well, I'm playing Tootsie right now.
Because I just scratched my back with a fork.
Oh, God, I hope your eye doesn't itch later.
Oh.
Or your balls. Woo. All right, Kyle.
Yes, sir.
Anything to say to our listeners before we sign off?
Oh, man, I'm looking up Super Bowl Revenge, and buddy, you got...
Goody.
Oh.
Aaron?
Huh?
Anything to say to our listeners before we sign off?
Stay black.
Assalamu alaikum.
Keep your unit on you.
All 521 of you, thank you.
Hey, that's something I was going to say.
What?
I was on a Facebook thread and somebody said, hey, I think they're trying to book Lashley as the new Brock Lesnar. And then I said, I am just imagining Paul Heyman going, Black Lesnar. And it got some laughs.
Oh. Not to mention, you got your Jewish Paul
And then I was
Heyman
on
and Black
the
Bobby
same
Lashley.
same Facebook thread, and they posted a picture of a poster, and it had all these matches from the 80s, and it said Barry Horowitz versus Brady Boone.
Bearrry.
Yeah, and I put, he's a Jewberry.
I just looked up the card for Super Brawl from 1997. I'm kind of mad. There's 2 dark matches that I'm not going to get to see. Hugh Morris versus Joe Gomez.
And you're
Ultimate Dragon versus Pat Tanaka.
and you're
You want to
mad.
watch Joe Gomez do absolutely nothing? Watch the Horseman beat him up on Nitro. Nate knows what I'm talking about.
Woo, it's fun. All right, folks.
Renegade puts up a fight, but Joe Gomez does nothing.
Well, I have 40 seconds before Tootsie ends, so we're going to sign off.
That's hot.
That's hot. Thank you for joining us on this week's edition of the We Can't Wrestle podcast.
Good night, ladies.
And we will we will see you
I'm hanging up.
next week with a pay-per-view edition of the show. Thanks for joining us,
time.
wrestling fans. Have a good one.